Well, hello. And you want to know how to stop texting that guy, the ghosting guy. I know that you do because you are here, my darlings. So here we go with it. I am going to help you get your power back when that guy disappears. So let me scooch over so I can see my notes here a little bit. Okay, so here's what I want to set the scene for you with, right, my darlings? So let's start off with you've met this amazing guy. He is coming towards you. It's super fun. You're kind of relieved. You're like, finally, a guy that's reciprocating is showing me a ton of attention. He seems like he's super great. I really like him, right? You guys talk for a while. It goes back and forth and it's going great. Okay? This has happened to a lot of people, and I know this from my own experience and from my clients. So you have this thing going, and then what happens? You start noticing that he is pulling back. You start noticing that, oh, he's short with you. He's seems, not as fun to talk to. He's waiting longer to respond, right? Well, when you start noticing that, if you go into your normal anxiety, right? If you start freaking out, if you start going into what I call masculine energy, my darlings, you will notice that that behavior that's really bothering you just seems to get worse and worse, doesn't it? Okay. I want to talk to you today about why ghosting isn't about you and how to emotionally regulate when it happens, my loves. Okay? And how to flip the script so that you can come out magnetic instead of desperate. Okay? So if that sounds like you want to hear this, then welcome. We are going to be putting this recording into my podcast, Big Sister Says, so you'll have it forevermore in there after we finish today. Okay, that's the plan. So what I want to start with, honeys, is the reason ghosting hurts more than just a straight up rejection is very hormonal. There's a dopamine crash, there's an abandonment wound that's touched on, and there's the illusion of a connection that's been, taken away and lost. Okay? The psychological reason that ghosting happens, there are avoidant attachments or wounded feminine, if you follow, my feminine energy teachings. There's emotional immaturity, right? There is fear of intimacy. We all know that that's part of it. But you didn't get ghosted, my darlings, because you are too much. You got ghosted because they couldn't handle the depth of what was going on. Okay? And so when you realize this, you can stop taking this so personally and you can get your power back in the situation, which is what we want, right? Okay? So when you chase, okay, when this happens, when you reach out, when you ask, where did you go, or what's up, stranger, or all those things, those crappy tips that a lot of coaches will give, okay, you essentially kill the polarity in the relationship or the budding relationship, okay? And we don't want to kill the polarity. And the polarity is that feminine energy dynamic and masculine energy dynamic, which is needed for a healthy relationship, okay? So you have to learn that silence and leaning back is power, okay? It's really important. Now, some of the tools that I want to touch on that I teach in my Reunite with Him course, which you can get through the All Access membership. Okay, it's a big course. There's over 40 hours of content in there. So I'll keep you very busy. You won't even have time to be texting this guy, okay? But one of those methods is called the low tide method, okay? And when you learn the low tide method, you're essentially you're learning how to pull back like the ocean pulls back during the low tide, right? And what happens when there's a low tide? Okay, the sand pulls with the water. The sand wants to follow the water as it pulls back. Okay? Now, what happens when the water pushes into the beach? The sand has to go back toward the beach, right? So if you think of this as you are the feminine, okay, you are the chaos, the beautiful ocean, and the man, the masculine energy, okay, it doesn't have to be a gender, whatever you prefer to date, right? But the more masculine energy has to run away or push back from you, okay? Which we don't want. So you have to understand, my darlings, that you have to be the one that's pulling back to get them to come towards you, okay? So that's one of the methods that I teach in a structure and Reunite with Him. But that's the vision I want you to have. When you pull back, you're actually drawing that sand towards you, okay? It's the same with women and men, feminine and masculine. When you're pulled back, you're drawing him towards you. You bring up his curiosity. You stir up that longing for him to come towards you. Okay? Now, do you think the vast ocean is focused on one little grain of sand? No, she is not. She doesn't have to be. She's beautiful. She's massive. She's chaos. She has her own thing going on. That's what you need to envision, okay, as your feminine energy and power. You don't focus on trying to pull one little grain of sand towards you. You know that as you, the beautiful ocean, pull back, all of the sand will gravitate and come towards you. And it's the same with men. Stop focusing on that one little specific person, because otherwise you will go into that pushing energy and he will pull away from you. Okay? That obsessive, anxious energy is not feminine energy. Okay? Now, another thing that I want to teach you, my darlings, or impress upon you is breath work and nervous system reset, which are fancy ways of calming down that anxiety, you wild ones, okay? So when you're obsessing, when you're like, is he going to text me? Did I say the wrong thing? And you're in that headspace, you are actually in a state where you cannot be magnetic or attractive. It's not possible. You're in panic mode. You're in masculine energy. You're overthinking. You're in flight or fight. You're making up the worst case scenarios. And that is all very much a physical feeling in your body, honeys. That's why when you feel heartbroken or stressed over this situation, you feel uncomfortable, you feel horrible physically, right? You can't think straight. So what you have to learn to do, my darlings, is reset your nervous system. And in order to do that, there are different tools. So there's breath work in a certain consistent way, okay? There's EFT, emotional freedom tapping, which I'm certified in. There's hypnosis, okay, which I'm certified in, all of these things, right? To reset your mind, calm down your nervous system so we can start repatterning your brain, okay? So that you're not obsessing, chasing, and in that masculine type energy. Okay, it's really important that you find those tools, those nervous system regulation tools, honeys, that work best for you. I say try them all, use them all, meditation regularly, see what works best to get you out of that headspace. They will work, but you have to be consistent. Okay, and you can find any of these tools, honeys. There's so many practitioners, right? There's so many people online. There's so many beautiful, amazing healers, okay? I am not the only one. I don't know if you've noticed, there's so many amazing coaches. Go to the person that you resonate with, okay? I don't want people coming to me if they're iffy or if maybe they, but if you resonate with my work and you want to work with me or do my tools and my courses, you can join that membership, the All Access Love Goddess Self-Concept membership, okay? And I have all the tools recorded for you in the self-concept course at your fingertips, okay? Or you can book with me on Zoom a consultation. I'll go over your situation, of course. And then if I even think you need coaching, we'll talk about that at the end after I go over your situation. Sometimes people only do one consultation and I give them their advice, right? It's like a coaching session, okay? And that's all they need. And some people do need the hypnosis, the coaching sessions, right? The one-to-one. But I never push that on anybody, okay? So I want you all to feel, if you ever do book a Zoom, don't feel like you're going to be sitting through some weird sales thing, okay? I'm a coach. I'm not a salesperson. I only want to work with people, and I only have time to work with people that want to do the work and want to work with me, okay? So don't feel that way. If we get through your consult and you don't even want to talk about coaching, I don't give a fudge. Did you see me catch that? Because this is going to be on the podcast. I feel proud of myself. I didn't sailor talk, you guys. Oftentimes I do. If we weren't putting this on my podcast, I have to behave. Okay. So just putting that out there, but whatever you choose to do, my darlings, you need the nervous system regulation and you need to do the healing work so you don't keep, doing the same thing, being attracted to the same guy with a different face. I'm looking at you, okay? But if you continually choose guys that are unhealthy or don't come towards you or, burn fast and then fade, then the common denominator is you, okay? So we need to work on you, okay? Okay, and I just want to remind you too, I had this little note, magnetic women don't chase closure, they embody it. So if someone ghosted, okay, if someone ghosted you or pulled away, we don't reach out and go, I just need to know why. I just need closure. I just need why. Okay, you do not need to have them tell you. And my darlings, if someone ghosts and they're that emotionally immature in that bad of a space, what makes you think they're just going to be like, oh, since you asked, let me just bare my soul, right? Okay. So you've got to let go of expecting to buy a loaf of bread at Home Depot. You're going to someone who's obviously emotionally unavailable, trying to get emotions from them, okay? So stop doing that. Okay, and here's the funny thing, ladies, on the flip side of that, when you do the healing work, a lot of times, that's why I've been successful at helping people get their ex back or their crush, their specific person that initially did pull away, is once you heal, you become that siren, that vampy vixen, where they're like, oh, she's mysterious. She's not chasing me anymore. She has her power. Who is this? And then they're interested, right? Because you have your power back. But you can't fake it. So you might as well stop like listening to advice, like, oh, wait to call them for an hour, do this, do that. Because if you don't do the healing work, when they come back, you're just going to trip out again and get anxious and they'll pull back again. If you didn't heal what's making you insecure, honeys, then you can't keep this healthy, mysterious, secure mask on, okay? Without actually doing the healing work, okay? So that's why I'm hopping on here to teach you guys today and to do this recording for the podcast. Okay, so you'll be able again to find this on my podcast. Okay, that's why I'm going through all my notes first, and then I'll look at some questions at the end. Okay. Okay, so next segment I wanted to talk about when the ghost comes back. Dun dun dun, when the ghost comes back. Okay, so and why they often do, right? So first off, my darlings, the dopamine loop, okay, is essentially what they are chasing when they leave and they come back, right? So when that person ghosts you, they start missing that feeling of validation, okay? When they pull back or they focus on other people or God knows what they're doing, honeys. You're making up the worst case, I'm sure, but who knows, okay? But when you pull back, when you take your energy back and you're in feminine energy, okay, they start missing you. They start getting curious. They wonder what happened to you, okay? They start craving your presence. And if they can get a response out of you with minimal effort, they get that dopamine, right? They're anticipating hearing from you. And then they get their fix and they'll pull back again. So what's really important, my darlings, is when they do come back towards you, okay? And I know you're missing them and you're really interested and all of this. It's really important that you do not entertain them with all your beautiful attention until they're actually investing effort into you, they're actually wanting to call you, talk to you, plan dates, etc. Okay, if he's hitting you up, girls, if he has a couple cocktails and he hits you up in the middle of the night, it's not going to be that beautiful reuniting with him that you're hoping for anyway. Okay, so what you need to hold out for and respond to is when they are actually coming towards you at a decent hour and they actually come towards you with explaining their behavior, apologizing for their behavior, and wanting to make it right. Okay? It's super important. Otherwise, it's all noise, honeys. It's all fluff. Okay? So, and again, this is going to be on the Big Sister Says podcast on Spotify. So all you gorgeous ladies in here, congratulations. Your questions at the end will be on there. And make sure, wave or like this or whatever. We'll get a bunch of you beauties, your questions at the end of the actual podcast here, okay? So it's really important that you pass this test, ladies, okay? Because they are going to basically test how available you are to them. If they still have you in their back pocket, right? If they're still going to be able to just, talk to you whenever they like, or reach out and have you talk to them at 2 a.m. Okay, so it's really important, honeys, that you pass this test. And again, you might as well start using the tools now. So those of you who are already in my membership, kudos to you. You are already using those sleep affirmations that are just freaking magical, okay, to switch those brain patterns. They've done studies, so those sleep affirmations can actually change behavior. They change the patterns in your brain, right? And then utilizing the tools during the day, EFT, the mindfulness, you can do the hypnosis, all the tools. I won't like weigh us down right here with the tools because there's a lot. But when you're using those regularly, okay, and you're not in that flight or fight, in that anxiety, you will be able to resist when he comes to you with that low effort reach out and behavior. Okay, you'll pass that availability test. And the only way he can come towards you more then is if he steps up, right? And that's what we want, ladies, is it not? Okay. Who does it? You guys want that, right? You want him to step up, you want him to put out more effort towards you, correct? So, claim that energy, honeys. If that's what you're desiring, take a deep breath and claim, yes, I deserve more effort, and that's why I'm not satisfied when he's not doing that. So, you have to really embrace, ladies, your authenticity in this connection with this person. So whenever, I'm going to call you out, whenever you accept his low effort, when you accept those breadcrumbs, you're being a liar. You are being dishonest. You are not being a good person. I'll even say that. I know it's harsh, right? But you're basically telling him through your actions that you are happy and okay with the low effort breadcrumbs by responding, by being like, oh, So you've got to wait until he's giving more effort, not at 2 a.m., not just writing, hey. We don't answer those, okay? You wait until he asks, are you okay? I'm sorry I've been distant. I can tell you're upset. Then you can say, I've felt a bit sad. You can come in that way, but it's a specific process, and you've got to answer in the feminine energy. You've got to do, the proper structure, ladies. And when you learn, honeys, I promise this seems like a lot because you grew up trying to overachieve, be perfect, be the prettiest, the smartest, the funniest. I get all the amazing women, right? You're trying to be the most instead of learning to be authentic within yourself, right? You've been spending your life trying to be what you thought they wanted you to be so you could be loved. And babies, my gosh, you're missing on how amazing you are. You're missing out. You're already more than enough. Okay, spoiler alert. So stop giving him your whole heart until he shows up like the partner that deserves your beautiful self, okay? And if there are guys on here too, same, right? Okay. So it's really important, honeys, that once you do my tools and you learn how to respond, you're not going to need me forever. And I don't want you to need me forever, right? I mean, I love it if you stay in my membership. I have lifers in there that have been in my membership since the start because they love the tools and all that. And that's great. But my passion and my goal is to get you out of this feeling where you're anxious in love and relationships. And then I want you to heal and get the heck out of the membership if you want, but send me your girlfriends who keep dating those toxic guys, your sisters, your cousins, right? Your moms even. Has she been doing this her whole life? Okay. Your success in love when you send me your engagement photos and all that, That is what I'm looking for. And then your word of mouth, send me the girlies. Let's change the world together, right? Let's get everybody not chasing people that ghost and in their feminine. That is the mission, okay? Okay. I digress. So how to respond like a high value woman. Okay, so in order to respond in that high value, amazing energy, ladies, you have to again learn the feminine energy tools so that before you even speak or respond, you actually check in with yourself and go, how do I feel? Like, do I feel good? Do I feel sad? Do I feel right? We really connect you with your actual feelings because you've been living your whole life answering someone hoping to impress them, okay, instead of actually, how do I really feel? What do I really want to say? Okay, so there's a process of connecting with your emotions, and then responding in feminine is, I feel so happy to hear from you. I've been feeling a little sad, so this is nice, right? Actual emotion, men eat it up, okay? Not dumping on him 3 paragraphs and all that, okay? But I teach you all of that obviously in the courses, okay? But if that makes sense. Okay, so sorry if that audio's getting scritchy there. I was sliding it so I could see my notes. Okay, so here are some fun examples that you can answer with guys, okay? So if he says, and I'm literally making these up right now because I wanted it to be a natural process for you guys to see. So first of all, if he says WYD, like what you doing in the middle of the night, we don't even answer that. Okay. I like to use the technique with you ladies where you do look at it, you open it, and then you go back to bed if you happen to wake up in the middle of the night. Okay. And the reason being is it's about respect. We want him to know that you saw it and you went, this isn't appropriate, and you went back to bed. Okay. Now, it may seem a bit harsh, but it should be. If a guy feels that you are someone who can be texted at 2 a.m. and he doesn't give a flying F if you're sleeping or not, that is not the vibe. Okay. Now, if he messages maybe, a boring message, but cute in the morning, good morning, beautiful. You can say, you can be a little bit cheeky and go, aren't I? With a little cute, and that's it, aren't I? Right? It's cute, it's playful, and it's confident, right? So you don't say, oh, I'm feeling good. How are you? I've been missing you. No. If he just says, good morning, beautiful, right? It's very generic, isn't it? So we answer like, oh, aren't I? Right? Or something of that nature. And I walk you guys through this as well. Okay. Now, if he does ask something amazing in the morning, like, hey, I was waiting until I knew you'd be up. I didn't want to disturb you. There's this amazing show on Saturday. I know you said you love Broadway shows. This is supposed to be great. Can I get us tickets? Okay, then it's time. Oh my gosh, I feel so excited to hear from you. I was just thinking about you. I would love that. When are the times, right? Okay, so it's not even about matching energy, it's about matching the effort and situation. Okay, my darlings. And again, this might seem like simple, I should know this stuff, but you would be surprised, or maybe you aren't, how many women will get a what you do in text and they send paragraphs, right? Oh, I'm good. I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking about you. I've missed you so much, right? You've got to match the situational effort. Yeah? Okay. Um, my next segment I wanted to go into for when someone's ghosting you, how to transmute heartbreak into glow up energy. Okay, So, my darlings, if you've been feeling really rejected by this person, if you've been feeling really heartbroken by this person simply pulling back, and you're making up all those worst case scenarios and you're putting all this energy into this situation that you don't even know really what happened, do you? Right? What I want you to do, transmute, means we're going to take all that energy, that feeling of rejection, all of that obsessing, staring at your phone, and I want you to get out your paper, or if you're in my membership, you're going to jump into the self-concept course and start module 1 that goes over core beliefs, okay? If you're not in the membership, you're going to journal. You're going to journal about your limiting beliefs. Why do you think this lesson is coming towards you? Do you feel you are not, ever the one to be chosen? Do you feel you're not interesting? All those limiting things that little voice inside you speaks, right? You're going to go through all of those and then you're going to flip them. You're going to transmute that. You're going to flip all that energy into, what do I need to do and be to feel like I am that woman who is chosen, interesting, fun. If you're sitting on your ASS, ladies, not doing anything, then the self-esteem is going to be affected, because you know in your heart you're meant for more. So you can talk to yourself all day, but if you are not chasing your dreams and you're just obsessing over a hairy, stinky guy that isn't talking to you, then of course you are feeling these limiting beliefs. So what we do is we shift this into a plan to glow up. This is your glow up energy. You take that rejection, that heartbreak, and you glow up with it. Okay? I do this with all my one-to-one clients. I do this alongside of them. We go through all those hurts, all that past, all the limiting beliefs, and we transmute it into their glow up. That's why you'll see those, you guys see, if you're on this live, and later if you're on the podcast, obviously you found me somewhere. I'm thinking you see the testimonials, right? So that's when you see the women that I've worked with, like Tara, right? Who was divorced from her specific person. He was with a third party. She was devastated. She lost her job because she couldn't think straight, her beautiful, high-powered job. And we worked together. She did my big 3-month package, right? You guys may have heard her story already. Sorry if this is redundant. I have a whole podcast episode and she explains, right? She got a brand new job. He broke up with that other person, put himself in therapy, won her back, and they're back together madly in love, right? So there's no circumstance that's going to be too hard. So those of you that are like, oh, we got divorced, oh, they were with somebody else, I don't care, okay? Anything is possible for you if you glow yourself up, okay? Glow up. You've got to become the woman of your dreams. She's sleeping in there. You're trying to make yourself feel happy with that guy who's ghosting, instead of really truly becoming the woman where you're like, I don't care. I have a zillion options, right? So that is what we do here with our glow up energy. Okay. Okay. So I want to get to a few questions. So let's go ahead and go for it, ladies. I will answer these and they will be on the podcast, okay? And I don't have to say your name, so you can say anonymous or whatever, but go ahead and pop it in to the chat if you have a few questions, okay? And I will have it right there on Big Sister Says, which will be fun for you to listen to again and again later. You'll have your answer to your question, okay? So go ahead. Don't be shy, whoever wants to go first. There's a lag too. So if you're like, why isn't she answering yet? There's a bit of a delay when you type and before I see it, okay? But what I want to impress upon you, I'll chatterbox while I wait to see a question that we can answer on here, okay? Um, what I want to impress upon you, my darlings, is that when you glow up and you become the woman of your dreams, you become absolutely magnetic to the person that you want and to other people. Okay? No, this is for men as well, but mostly my clients are women. I had a question about that, okay? He complains about going to work, and I don't know how to reply to that. We're in college. Okay. So, Michelle, if he's just complaining about work, all you need to do is relate and be supportive, okay? So you can say like, I get it. I understand, I feel this way. And then let him have his feelings about that. And it's the same for him with you. If you were complaining about work, okay, you don't necessarily need him to give you every suggestion of why you shouldn't complain or what you should do, right? If you're with somebody, you just need to be their person, okay? Okay, Persia Princess wants to know how to respond when they come back from ghosting. Okay, so Persia, first of all, I know I called this podcast episode, the ghosting and how to deal with the ghosting. But I want you to take the idea that you've been ghosted out, okay? Because when we say that, we're actually making it personal. He may have had things come up in his life and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't even deal, right? He may have had someone pass away. He may have had tons of work stuff and he can't even think about romance, right? If you guys know, men in general, just they're very built for focus on one thing. And it comes with, they're hunters. They have to really focus, like hyper focus. If you've ever tried to talk to a guy when they're watching a big football game or playing a video game, right? And you try to have like a quick convo, you understand this. They're like, I'm trying to, right? Hyper focus. So stop making it personal, ladies, all of you, about quote ghosting. Okay, so they're hyper focused elsewhere. And then all of you, I can hear you now. What if he's talking to other people? Well, if it's not your husband, okay, or your boyfriend, that's his business, right? And truly, you should be talking to several people if you're single as well. Okay, so don't hate if he's actually healthily dating and talking to people and you aren't. That's on you, chicas. And we work on that in my courses too. Okay. I want you all with a pair and a spare, 3 people that you talk to and go on dates regularly. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get, the quality 3 that you like. So don't stress. You don't have to poof, have them straight away. But ideally, you want to get to that quality group of people that you're dating so you're not hyper focused and sad if someone isn't reaching out fast enough, you anxious ones, right? And we do in the membership in the courses also, and with my one-on-ones, and with you here in the live, we work on shifting and becoming more secure, right? When you become more secure, then you don't need all that safety and validation from that other person. And weirdly enough, when you don't need it, they want to give it to you. Okay, they don't feel like you're out to get them. Like, oh, I'm in trouble if I don't call her 3 times and all of this, right? Okay. So it's really important that if you are single, that you're dating at least a few people at a time. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be hyper focused and sad and simping on one person that isn't coming towards you, and then you're not attractive to anyone, including yourself. Okay? So, if they aren't reaching out, coming towards you, and you've already, you made it pretty clear that you guys were talking and everything, you didn't tell them to take a hike, you didn't block them, right? They kind of get it, they can find you, then you're talking to other people. Okay? Right, right? So we want to be in our power. Okay? Now, what I will venture to guess before I wrap up here, okay, because it's been a good amount of time and this is going to be a long podcast, okay? But that's fine. I want you guys to have a lot of good stuff. Is I want you to understand that if you are anxious and obsessive about somebody else giving you happiness, that there's more work to be done in your own life so that you have your legacy, your dreams, and your life be so interesting to you, okay, that you barely notice. That should be like 10% of your thought process, your love life, and cute people you're talking to. You should have a life that's amazing, stand alone, okay? Because when you can stand alone, you won't be alone, okay? But if you need, oh, please talk to me, oh, you didn't text me as much, not cute, okay? All right, my darlings. Well, thank you for you to ask questions and be on the podcast is super fun for me. So I will get that uploaded, okay? And I'll also probably throw the recording on my YouTube channel, which is just a baby YouTube. I have my bigger platforms are, of course, Insta, TikTok, all of that. But follow everything, my darlings. It's a wild world. Who knows what's going to happen with these different platforms sometimes. So you can go to my bio, you can check out my membership. With my all access, I do 3 group Zooms with you a month, 2 for the Reunite with Him course and 1 for the self-concept. Okay, and Reunite with Him, our next one is actually tomorrow. So if you join the membership, it's great timing because you can be on the Zoom with me tomorrow and I'll be excited to see your faces. Okay? All right, my darlings, I will let you enjoy your Saturday. Don't stare at your phone waiting to hear from them tonight. I want you to do something just for you. Okay? Bye, honeys. I will see you again soon. Thanks for being here. Bye.